So after winning the national championship, even just weeks later, the Ohio State Buckeyes look a lot different. Chip Kelly just announced he's headed back to the NFL with the Raiders, and of course, Jim Knowles went to Penn State for some reason. But if you're a Buckeyes fan, there is no need to worry. These guys are going to get replaced, and Ohio State has a few ultra-talented players coming up through the pipeline, as well as one guy that is already being rumored to be a Jeremiah Smith type of player, and I want to talk all about it. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so with the news that Chip Kelly is gone, some players were sad to hear it, but I think Ohio State is going to be able to rebound quickly. I mean, nearly anyone should be able to have success, given that they have the most talented and one of the most expensive rosters in all of college football. So first I want to talk potential replacements, but I need to address that it is ultimately up to Ryan Day and if he wants to retake the reins of calling the plays. But I'm assuming he wants to stay in a straight head coaching role, being the CEO of everything. So the first name that pops up is Brian Hartline. He held the title of offensive coordinator for the 2023 season after Wilson left for Tulsa, and the promotion back into that role for 2025 could go a long way towards Ohio State's efforts to keep him in Columbus long term. That factor by itself makes the option of promoting Hartline worth considering, given his immense value to the Buckeyes as college football's preeminent wide receivers coach. The question, as I kind of just talked about surrounding this option, is whether Day is ready to trust Hartline with offensive play calling responsibilities after choosing not to delegate those duties to Hartline in 2023. One option could be to pay Hartline like a full-fledged offensive coordinator and give him more game planning authority in 2025, but pair him with a veteran coordinator with more play calling experience. But either way, even if Hartline doesn't end up as the OC, the Buckeyes must keep him around, and I mean must, however they can, because of his recruiting abilities. Next up, we have Jason Candle, who was the head coach of Toledo. Candle was one of the first names connected to Ohio State's offensive coordinator search last year, so it wouldn't be surprising to see him garner consideration for the job if he's interested. Day's hire of O'Brien and Kelly last year showed that he valued head coaching experience in hiring an offensive coordinator, and Candle would bring 8 years of that experience from Toledo. As a native of Salem, Ohio, Candle has spent his entire coaching career in the Buckeye State. He was Toledo's offensive coordinator from 2012 to 15 before becoming the Rockets head coach in 2016. His offenses at Toledo have consistently ranked among the best in the MAC, though the Rockets dropped to 4th in the MAC in scoring offense and 6th in the conference in total offense in 2024 after leading the MAC in both points and yards per game in 2023. Candle has never coached in a major conference, but his head coaching experience and track record of managing successful offenses and Ohio roots all make him a candidate worth considering nonetheless. And he'd be significantly cheaper to hire away from his head coaching job than Kelly was a year ago. The third option could be Joe Moorhead, the head coach of Akron. Sticking with the theme of current MAC head coaches with a track record of leading successful offenses, Moorhead could be another strong choice to replace Kelly. He was regarded as one of the best offensive coordinators in the country during his tenures, leading the offenses at 2 of Ohio State's top Big Ten competitors in Penn State in 2016 and 17 and Oregon in 2020 and 21. And he'd also bring power conference head coaching experience from his time as Mississippi State's head coach in 2018 and 2019. Moorhead would have good reason to consider taking a top offensive coordinator job after going just 8-28 in his first 3 years as Akron's head coach. And Fessler could help ensure a smooth transition to Ohio State for Moorhead, as Fessler worked for him at Akron in 2022 and 2023. Moorhead never clearly emerged as a candidate in last year's searches, but he'd still check a lot of the boxes Ohio State wants in an offensive coordinator. Alright, now moving on, let's talk players and address the title of this video. Ohio State really is just becoming a wide receiver university. I mean, take a look at the last 5 to 10 years. It's impossible to name all the guys they've had, but guys that instantly come to mind are Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., now you got Jeremiah Smith. There's almost an unlimited amount of names you can list, and that is big part because of Brian Hartline. The dude just recruits any and every receiver he can find, and now that they have this track record, it's very easy to get receivers to want to commit. And in the class of 2027, the Buckeyes have already recruited another 5-star receiver that could be another Jeremiah Smith or Marvin Harrison-esque type of player, which is just crazy because as an Ohio State fan, we have just been blessed to watch all these guys over the years. The guy I'm talking about goes by the name of Jameer Brown. He's currently ranked as the #1 player in the entire state of Ohio and the #5 player in the nation. He's out of Wayne High School in Dayton, Ohio, and this kid really could be the future of Ohio State receivers. And I know that's absurd to say with what we just saw from Smith, because it's almost impossible to be better than what he just did. And then even crazier than that, in the class of 2026, the year ahead of that, the Buckeyes are tied to Chris Henry Jr., a 5-star and #1 ranked receiver out of California. He did recently visit USC for Junior Day, and a few other schools are making a heavy push to get him, but he has consistently verbally said he's committed to Ohio State, so we will see how that pans out. Henry is the son of the late Cincinnati Bengals receiver Chris Henry, who tragically passed away in 2009. In many ways, he resembles his father, not just by carrying his name, but his play on the field. His 6'5", 205-pound frame creates consistent mismatches with defensive backs, and Henry's ability to change directions with ease for someone his size is very, very impressive. He can stretch the field with his long strides, and he has a massive catch radius. Anyways, moving on, let's talk defense and what's next for the Buckeyes now that Jim Knowles has left Ohio State for Penn State. And of course, guys like Jack Sawyer are going to the NFL. The Buckeyes still have a lot of talent to work with. Caleb Downs will be back, and that alone is a guy that you can build your defense around. And one potential defensive coordinator is Indiana DC Bryant Haynes. The Hoosiers were one of the biggest surprises in college football in 2024, climbing into the top 10 of the national rankings for a large portion of the season and making their first trip to the college football playoff. One of the biggest reasons for the Hoosiers' success was the performance of their defense under Haynes. Indiana finished the season just behind Ohio State in total defense, allowing 256.3 total yards per game, which ranks second in the country. The Hoosiers also ranked 6th in the nation in defensive scoring, allowing 15.6 points per game. 2024 was Haynes' first season on the job in Bloomington after spending the previous 2 seasons in the same role at James Madison. Also on defense, in terms of personnel, the Buckeyes will have Sony Styles coming back. They got David Igbinosun, who really grew on me. Lorenzo Styles Jr. will be out there at corner, and there's a few other guys that I like. So as much as the haters would not want to admit, even with some of the departures, Ohio State football is going to be back and better than ever. And Ryan Day has gotten this team to be the favorites to win it all once again. Hopefully they can beat Michigan. Losing to them is a big deal, but at the end of the day, winning national championships is definitely good enough. That's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below what players you would like to see Ohio State bring in and what you think about their next generational receiver. If you made it to this point and enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.